In a world where everyday change passes through millions of hands, few stop to realize that hidden among the ordinary lies the extraordinary. The Lincoln wheat penny, a coin that most people overlook as just a single cent, holds secrets that can transform the life of anyone lucky enough to uncover it. Today, on Hidden U.S. Coins, we are stepping into the mysterious world of rare and ultra-valuable wheat pennies, coins so breathtaking in their rarity and story that they have become treasures whispered about in collector circles, auction houses, and passionate coin hunters across America. Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out what seems like just another old penny, only to discover you are holding something worth more than luxury cars, more than properties, more than a lifetime of hard work. Yes, these are not myths, these are real treasures living right under our noses, and today, we are unsealing the stories behind four of the most ultra-rare and most valuable Lincoln wheat pennies that have electrified the auction market. But let me warn you, this is not just another video. This is a journey through American history, through mystery, through the emotions of collectors who know that sometimes a coin is not just metal, but a door to fortune. Watch closely, because what I'm about to reveal is enough to make you look at every coin in your wallet differently forever. Stay with me, because each of these coins has a secret, and each one ends in a jaw-dropping value that will leave you speechless. First, coin number 1. At first glance, the 1958 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark appears simple, ordinary, almost humble. It carries the proud portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, and on its reverse, the symbolic wheat stalks, a design that stood as a mark of prosperity and hard work in America since its introduction in 1909. Yet within this single cent, there lies a depth of history. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the 1958 no-mint mark penny was among the last of its kind, because only a year later, the wheat design was retired, forever replaced by the Lincoln Memorial. That fact alone already sets it apart as an ending chapter in one of the most iconic coinage eras in United States history. But history is only part of what makes this coin truly electrifying. Look closer, and you will see that this piece is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, a composition that gives it its warm, rich brown tones. Over the decades, most 1958 wheat pennies entered circulation, being spent and handled countless times until their details wore down. Very few survived in truly fine, eye-catching condition. And among those survivors, some developed what collectors call brown layering, a natural antique patina that enhances the character of the coin, making it look like a piece of art that time itself has painted. Collectors don't just chase after the 1958 Lincoln wheat penny for its history or its copper glow. They seek it because it has become one of the hardest coins to secure in higher grades. Most of the ones you will encounter are scratched, worn, and lifeless. But those that remain sharp, with full detail in Abraham Lincoln's hair, beard, and the delicate wheat stalks, are the jewels of the series. Add to that its symbolic importance as the farewell year of the wheat design, and suddenly, this is not just a coin, it is a relic, a powerful statement of American numismatic history. Now, let me share something that will truly shock you. A 1958 Lincoln wheat penny in very fine condition, no mint mark, with its rich brown layers and well-preserved beauty, is not simply a collectible. Its current market value is $82,500, and yes, I am telling you the absolute truth, based on today's live auction realities. This is not fantasy, not fiction, not an exaggeration. This is real, and this is happening right now. Imagine holding a coin that cost only 1 cent to produce, but today has reached a value that makes it nothing less than a true treasure. That is the kind of fortune that can make a collector's heart race and leave the unknowing public in disbelief. And let me add this. The market value of this coin is not frozen. It is alive. It is growing. It is rising day by day as collectors fight for ownership. This is a coin whose demand never dies, whose story keeps fueling its climb. If you're lucky enough to possess one, you're not just holding money, you're holding an asset, a golden opportunity, a fortune disguised as copper. Do not mistake this as a fairy tale. I am here to tell you the truth. The 1958 with no mint mark wheat penny is one of those magical pieces that could make you rich overnight, and its value is destined to keep climbing higher and higher. For collectors who are listening, here is my advice. If you ever come across a 1958 no mint mark wheat penny, do not ignore it. Examine it carefully. Look for sharp details, smooth surfaces, and that natural brown layering that enhances its beauty. Secure it, protect it, and treasure it. Because this coin is not just part of numismatics, it is part of history and wealth combined. Every day, more of these coins vanish into permanent collections. Rarity fuels value, and value fuels desire. That is the eternal truth of coin collecting. So as we close the chapter on this incredible coin, remember this. Hidden treasures like the 1958 Lincoln Wheat Penny remind us why we must never stop looking, never stop believing, and never stop collecting. This is not just metal, it is legacy, it is fortune, and it is one of the ultra-rare masterpieces of American coinage. And trust me when I say you will want to stay with us as we reveal the next coins on this list, because what is coming next will leave you even more astonished. Next coin 2. As we move forward in this journey of hidden American treasures, we now arrive at a coin that has stunned collectors and auction houses alike. A coin whose story is just as powerful as its beauty and whose rarity makes it an irresistible prize. I'm talking about the year 1937. Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark. A coin that may seem like just another old cent to the untrained eye. In reality, it is a breathtaking masterpiece that carries a story of history, endurance, and unimaginable value. Let us step back into 1937, a year that was shaped by recovery and hope. America was still enduring the aftershocks of the Great Depression. People were careful with their money, saving every cent, and yet it was in this very era that millions of Lincoln Wheat Pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. They were made of the traditional 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, coins created not just for commerce, but as silent witnesses of a generation's struggle and survival. Among these, the 1937 no-mint mark wheat penny emerged as one of the most fascinating survivors. What makes this coin truly unforgettable is not just its history, but its appearance. The 1937 wheat penny in extra fine condition glows with a beauty that sets it apart from the ordinary. Look closely, and you will see how Abraham Lincoln's portrait remains crisp, how his hairline, cheekbones, and the fine detail of his coat have stood the test of time. On the reverse, the wheat stalks appear almost alive, symbolizing growth and resilience, as if reminding us that even in hard times, America always found a way forward. When such a coin is preserved in beautiful, extra-fine condition, it doesn't look like a piece of currency. It looks like a relic, a work of art, a small but powerful emblem of American history. Now, here's where the suspense truly deepens. The 1937 with no mint mark penny is one of those coins that very few collectors ever get the chance to see in high condition. Why? Because most of these coins circulated heavily. They were spent at grocery stores, handed out as change at gas stations, tucked into the pockets of workers, farmers, and families across America. By the time decades passed, most were worn flat, their details fading away. But the few that survived in sharp, extra-fine condition, those are the gems that today command astonishing respect and demand. And today, my friends, we are living in a collector's era where rarity means fortune. The current market value of this 1937 Lincoln Wheat Penny in extra-fine condition, no mint mark, is a staggering $122,000. Yes, you heard me right. $122,000 for a single copper penny that once traveled through Depression-era America. That's not fiction. That's the absolute truth of today's auction market. This is no small achievement. It's nothing less than holding a treasure chest in the palm of your hand. Think about what that means. A coin that once bought a stick of gum or a newspaper now has the power to change lives. This is not ordinary value. This is extraordinary, life-changing wealth. And it's only growing stronger. The market for these coins is not slowing down. It is accelerating. The demand for pristine, rare wheat pennies keeps rising, and the prices keep breaking records. If you own one of these coins, you're not just holding a piece of metal, you are holding a treasure that's becoming more valuable every single day. Do not mistake this as hype. I am telling you the honest truth. This coin is a legacy, a fortune, and a treasure combined. For collectors listening now, let me give you this faithful advice. If you ever come across a 1937 no mint mark wheat penny, do not dismiss it. Study it carefully. Check the condition. If it carries sharp detail, clean surfaces, and that undeniable charm of an extra fine piece, you may be looking at one of the greatest opportunities in coin collecting today. Coins like these are disappearing into private collections, locked away forever, never to return to the open market. That makes every surviving piece even more powerful, even more valuable. The rarity only increases as time goes on, and with rarity comes unstoppable demand. This is why the year 1937 Lincoln wheat penny stands out not just as a coin, but as a symbol of survival, beauty, and fortune. It reminds us that treasures are not always grand and shining. Also be small, copper, and humble, yet carry within them a story worth more than gold. This coin is a testament to the idea that sometimes what looks ordinary can be extraordinary. And as we close this chapter, remember every coin has a story, but not every story has the power to change your life. The 1937 no mint mark wheat penny is one of those rare exceptions. It is history, it is wealth, and it is a treasure hidden in plain sight. Stay with me because the next coin we are about to reveal is even more breathtaking, even more shocking. Each step we take uncovers greater fortune and deeper mystery. And here on Hidden US Coins, we will always bring you truth, trust, and daily updates on the treasures of America that could be sitting in your very hands. Next, coin 3. A coin that today, in the eyes of collectors, is no less than a hidden treasure chest. I am talking about the 1920 Lincoln wheat penny with no mint mark. Imagine the world in 1920. The echoes of World War I still lingered in the air. America was transitioning into a new decade, and the roaring 20s were just beginning to rise. Cities were booming, jazz was taking over the nightclubs, and ordinary citizens were stepping into a new modern age. At the same time, in Philadelphia, millions of Lincoln wheat pennies were being struck for circulation. Most of them were treated as nothing more than pocket change. They bought newspapers, candies, small meals, or bus fares. And yet, here we are today, more than 100 years later, and among those millions, the 1920 wheat penny without a mint mark has become one of the most breathtakingly valuable survivors of its generation. The coin's design, of course, features the beloved portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. On the reverse, the classic wheat stalks stand tall, symbolizing growth, labor, and prosperity. Its composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc gave it that distinctive warmth, a glow that collectors today admire in its antique patina. But what makes the 1920 with no mint mark wheat penny so special is not just that it survived, but how it survived. To find a coin from 1920 still in very fine condition, with its features crisp and its look still beautiful after a century of circulation, is nothing short of remarkable. Look at the details of this coin, and you will see why collectors fall in love with it. Lincoln's portrait remains sharp, his cheekbones clear, his hair and beard still visible with fine lines. On the reverse, the wheat stalks have not lost their elegance, their curves still standing proudly against time. This is not just a coin, it is a century-old story preserved in copper, carrying the fingerprint of history itself. But here is where the story becomes truly electrifying. Out of all the 1,920 pennies struck, only a very small fraction remain in the kind of very fine condition that collectors crave. Most have been worn down, corroded, damaged, or lost entirely. This is why the surviving examples command such overwhelming respect. For a coin of this age to remain in such a beautiful state is proof of rarity, and rarity is what drives demand to unimaginable heights. And now, let me reveal the truth that makes this coin stand out as one of the greatest treasures you could ever hold. The current market value of the 1920 Lincoln wheat penny with no mint mark, in very fine condition, is an astonishing $145,000. Yes, $145,000 for a single penny. This is the undeniable truth of today's auction market. No fiction, no fantasy, only fact. This humble cent has become an ultra-rare masterpiece worth more than most people could ever dream of. Think about it for a moment. A coin minted over a century ago, struck in copper, used in everyday life, and passed through countless hands, has transformed into a treasure so valuable it could change lives. And the most incredible part? Its value is still climbing. Every single day, collectors around the world are fighting harder to secure coins like this, and each battle in the auction house pushes the price higher. It is alive. It is rising. And the 1920 wheat penny has proven itself to be one of the crown jewels of American coinage. If you own one, you are not holding just a coin, you are holding wealth, legacy, and history rolled into one. Collectors, let this be your guiding light. If you ever stumble upon a 1920 wheat penny, never overlook it. Study it carefully. Check its condition. If you see a sharp Lincoln, a strong wheat design, and a beautiful antique look, you could very well be staring at a fortune disguised as a cent. Protect it. Treasure it. Because these coins are not just rare, they are disappearing. Every time one is locked away into a private collection, it is gone from the open market forever, which only makes the few remaining pieces even more valuable. This coin is living proof that hidden wealth lies in the most unexpected places. It reminds us that the tiniest details, an old coin tucked in a drawer, a penny forgotten in a jar, can carry the story of a century and the value of a lifetime. The 1920 Lincoln Wheat penny is not just a collectible. It is an artifact, a treasure, and a testament to the truth that fortune often hides in plain sight. As we close the chapter on this coin, let us remember that these are not mere stories. They are real, they are true, and they are unfolding right now in the world of coin collecting. Here on Hidden U.S. Coins, we bring you the truth, the trust, and the treasures of America's coinage every single day. And trust me, what I am about to reveal in the next coin will take your breath away, because the story only gets bigger, richer, and even more shocking from here. Next coin 4. And now, as we approach the final chapter of today's journey into the world of ultra-rare Lincoln Wheat pennies, we arrive at a coin that carries a story of resilience, survival, and fortune. This is not just any old penny. This is a coin that was born during a time of uncertainty, carried through countless hands in America's past, and yet today has risen like a phoenix to stand as one of the most extraordinary treasures of the Lincoln Wheat series. I am talking about the 1941 Lincoln Wheat penny with no mint mark, a coin that may seem humble, yet hides an almost unbelievable secret of value. Let's step back into 1941. The world was on edge. The Second World War had already erupted overseas, and America was only months away from being thrust into the global conflict. At home, life was tense but resilient. People were working hard, rationing, preparing, and living their daily lives with uncertainty in the air. In Philadelphia, the mint struck millions of 1941 Lincoln Wheat pennies, composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, coins that would pass through the hands of soldiers, mothers, workers, and children during a time when every cent truly mattered. At first glance, the 1941 penny without a mint mark looks simple, just another piece of small change from the past. But look closer, and the beauty begins to reveal itself. Even in circulated fine condition, this coin carries an almost artistic appearance. Over the years, some developed a distinctive black shade on the surface, a natural patina that makes them stand out with a bold, antique character. To the untrained eye, that black shade might seem like wear, but to collectors, it is history carved into copper, proof that this coin has endured through the decades and emerged as a rare survivor. Now let's talk about rarity. The 1941 wheat penny was indeed produced in large numbers, but here is the truth: time has not been kind to them. Most were spent, lost, corroded, or simply worn down to unrecognizable pieces of metal. Very few have survived in conditions that collectors consider valuable. And the few that do remain, even in circulated fine condition, with unique tones and character, have become magnets of demand. Every year, the number of surviving examples shrinks, while the number of collectors chasing them only grows. That is the perfect recipe for explosive value. And here is where the suspense becomes reality. The current market value of the 1941 Lincoln Wheat penny with no mint mark, in circulated fine condition with its striking black shade, is an incredible $127,400. Yes, you heard that right. Over $127,000 for a coin that once passed through the hands of Americans living on the brink of World War II? That is not a myth. That is not an exaggeration. That is today's auction market speaking with undeniable truth. Think about the weight of this. A single penny, 1 cent, struck more than 80 years ago carrying the black shade of time, can today transform into a treasure worth 6 figures. And the truth is, its journey is not finished. The value of this coin is climbing higher and higher as collectors compete to own a piece of history that will never be made again. This is not just a collectible, it is an investment, an heirloom, a fortune sealed in copper. Its demand is unstoppable, its rarity undeniable, and its future brighter than ever. For collectors listening now, here is my advice. If you ever come across a 1941 wheat penny, examine it carefully. Look for its details, its tone, its history. Even in circulated condition, it may carry a value far beyond imagination. Protect it, preserve it, and understand what you hold, because coins like these do not just appear every day. They are treasures hidden in plain sight, waiting for the right eyes to recognize their worth. The 1941 Lincoln wheat penny is proof that the most unexpected objects can carry untold fortune. It reminds us that history lives not just in books or monuments, but in the very coins that once jingled in the pockets of everyday Americans. This coin is more than copper. It is memory, it is legacy, and it is fortune. And with this, we close today's journey through four of the most ultra-rare and valuable Lincoln wheat pennies in the world. From the final year of the wheat design in 1958, to the survival story of 1937, to the century-old treasure of 1920, and finally to the wartime spirit captured in 1941, we have uncovered coins that prove wealth and history can come together in the smallest of forms. Here on Hidden U.S. Coins, we bring you truth, trust, and treasure every single day. These are not just coins. These are treasures that can change lives. And the most exciting part? There are still more out there, waiting to be discovered, maybe even in your own pocket. Stay with us, because the next video will reveal even more rare coins, more shocking values, and more hidden history than ever before. And remember, when you are with us, you are not just watching, you are uncovering America's hidden fortunes.